Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaya Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudite Nashtaprahi Shavadreshu Nityam Bhattasvaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhakti Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, the activities of Maharaj Priyavrat, text number 11 onwards. So we saw how Priyavrat Maharaj was busy with this tapasya, and then everybody came, Narad Muni, Swayambhuva Manu, and later on we'll see Shivji is also there. And then Brahmaji came to convince him to take up the position of the king of the world. So Brahmaji has just arrived and he is speaking to Priyavrat Maharaj. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Nibodha Tadedam Taded Amritam Bravimi Masu Yitum Devam Arhasya Prameyam Vayam Bhavaste Tat Esha Maharshir Vaham Sarve Vivishayasya Dishtam. Lord Brahma, the Supreme Person within this universe, said. So, as we discuss, sometimes devotees, great devotees like Narad Muni and Brahmaji, also called Bhagwan, because they carry out the orders of the Lord. My dear Priyavrat, kindly hear attentively what I shall say to you. Do not be jealous of the Supreme Lord, who is beyond our experimental measurements. All of us, including Lord Shiva, your father, and the great sage Maharshi Narad, must carry out the order of the Supreme. We cannot deviate from his order. So, of the 12 great authorities in devotional service, 4, Lord Brahma himself, his son Narad, Swayambhuva Manu, and Lord Shiva, were present before Priyavrat. So, out of 12, 4 Mahajans were right there. So, we can understand the pressure on Priyavrat that he has to follow the orders. They were accompanied by many other authoritative sages. Brahma first wanted to impress upon Priyavrat that although these great personalities are all authorities, they cannot possibly disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described in this verse as Deva, which means always glorious. The power, glory, and potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can never be diminished. In the Ishopanishad, the Lord is described as Apapaviddha, which indicates that he is never affected by anything materially considered sinful. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Supreme Personality of Godhead as being so powerful that nothing we might consider abominable can affect him. An example sometimes given to explain the position of the Supreme Lord is that of the sun, which evaporates urine from the earth but is never affected by contamination. The Supreme Lord can never be accused of doing anything wrong. So Brahmaji is first, he is glorifying the Supreme Lord and also at the same time, he is trying to tell Priyavrat Maharaj that we cannot disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have to follow his orders. When Lord Brahma went to induce Priyavrat to accept the responsibility for ruling the universe, he did not go whimsically. He was following the dictations of the Supreme Lord. Indeed, Brahma and other genuine authorities never do anything without his permission. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave. The Lord dictated Vedic knowledge to Brahma through his heart. The more a living entity is purified by devotion service, the more he comes in direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So the more a living entity is purified by devotion service, more he comes in direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It means more we surrender, more Krishna works through us. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Lord Brahma, therefore, had not come to Priyavrat by his own whims. Rather, it is understood that he had been ordered to persuade Priyavrat by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose activities cannot be understood by material senses, and who is therefore described herein as aparameya, aprameya, aprameya. Aprameya means whose activities cannot be understood, cannot be measured by our material senses. Thus, Lord Brahma first advised Priyavrat to hear his words with attention and without envy. So, without envy, with attention, we can understand, with full attention. And without envy means many times if we have envy towards the speaker, even if we listen to him, first of all, we won't go and listen to him. Even if we listen to him, we will not pay attention. We'll always be paying attention to our mind. That my mind is saying, oh, this person is there, this person is that, this person is so bad, or he had done this to me, means we are envious. Or maybe the person is very good speaker, but we think I am better speaker than him, and why should I listen to him? So that is envy. And when there is envy, we don't really listen to that person. So this is one of the qualities of approaching a devotee or anybody who's speaking Bhagavad or any other topic. If we approach with a clean, pure heart, we'll just listen. We'll just hear attentively, without any prejudice, without any other notions in our mind. This is very important, actually. Why one is induced to perform certain acts despite his desire to do something else is indicated herein. One cannot disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord, even if one is as powerful as Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Manu, or the great sage Narad. All these authorities are certainly very powerful, but they do not have the power to disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Brahma had come to Priyavrat in accordance with the orders of the Supreme Lord, he first wanted to dispel any suspicions that he might be acting as Priyavrat's enemy. Lord Brahma was following the orders of the Supreme Lord, and therefore it would be worthwhile for Priyavrat to accept Lord Brahma's order as the Lord desired. So similarly, just like when Prabhupada would give orders to his disciples, they would carry out the orders and they would come out very successful if they were fully surrendered to Prabhupada's orders. Why? Because Prabhupada's orders were actually coming from Krishna. Because Prabhupada was fully surrendered. Just like Prabhupada asked 3 couple disciples of his, and that in the very beginning of the movement in 1969, I believe. He sent them to London to preach. Now 3 young American couples, and one of them had a little daughter, 1-year-old daughter. We didn't even have our own Bhagavad Gita, copy of Bhagavad Gita at that time. Our first copy of Bhagavad Gita was printed in 1972. In 69, there was not even a copy of Bhagavad Gita. Forget about other books. So we can only imagine how much knowledge they had. So Prabhupada sent them, go to London and preach. But because they were fully surrendered to the orders of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, along with the orders, gave them the power to execute his orders. And they went to London, they preached, they made Beatles devotees, especially George Harrison. They preached to him, they transformed his heart, and George Harrison recorded wonderful albums with them. My Sweet Lord, wonderful song. And it was #1, and Hare Krishna Mahamantra was being chanted all over, at least Europe and America, because they were all fans of Beatles, George Harrison. So it was such a big hit, tremendous success. And George Harrison further, he gave that Bhaktivedanta Manor, the whole mansion that he had, to Prabhupada, and he also helped otherwise with money and otherwise. So the point was, because they were surrendered to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was surrendered to Krishna. So they were given the proper strength, powers to take up this heavy service. And similar, there are hundreds of examples. Prabhupada would just send the devotee. He sent Hridayanand Maharaj. Okay, you open South America. South America is not just a country, it's a bunch of countries. And he would go and preach, keep on going and preaching all over. This is how the movement spread. He sent somebody to Russia. He sent Tamalkesh Maharaj to China. Nobody had even thought of preaching in China. But he sent Tamalkesh Maharaj to China to preach. So similarly, other places. Just like from when Prabhupada was in Bombay, he got an invitation to go to Amritsar. Somebody had invited him. So Prabhupada, with a group of his disciples, he went to Amritsar by train. On the way back from Amritsar, when the train stopped at New Delhi, Prabhupada told his disciple, Gurudas Prabhu, you get down here and start the movement, start preaching. There was nothing in Delhi at that time, nothing. No ISKCON movement was there. And he just told Gurudas, you just get down. No contacts, no money whatsoever he had. Him and another devotee, they got down. And they started the movement in Delhi, somehow, slowly. They would sleep on the roadside, they would sleep just like outside the shops at night, and then somehow they went into Chippiwada temple, and then they started from there. So this is how devotees had led their lives, because they had full faith in Prabhupada's words, and they preached. So this is what here Prabhupada is trying to tell through the orders to Priyavrat Maharaj, that Lord Brahma gave the orders. But the orders actually came from Krishna. And along with the orders came the strength to carry out those orders. Na tasya kasyat tapsa vidyayatma na yoga virena manishaya va nevartha dharma paratah svato va kritam vihantum tanu bhrid vibhuyat. One cannot avoid the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not by the strength of severe austerities and exalted Vedic education, or the power of mystic yoga, physical prowess, or intellectual activities. Nor can one use his power of religion, his material opulence, or any other means, either by himself or with the help of others, to defy the orders of the Supreme Lord. That is not possible for any living being, from Brahma down to the end. So one cannot avoid the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in any case, in any situation. In the Garga Upanishad, Garga Muni says to his wife, "My dear Gargi, everything is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the sun, the moon, and other controllers and demigods like Lord Brahma and King Indra are all under his control. An ordinary human being or animal who has accepted a material body cannot go beyond the jurisdiction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's control. A material body includes senses. However, the sense activities of so-called scientists who try to be free from God's law or the laws of nature are useless. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Mammaya duratyaya. It is impossible to surpass the control of material nature, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is working behind it. Sometimes we are proud of our austerities, penances, and mystic yogic powers, but it is clearly stated herein that one cannot surpass the laws and directions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, either by dint of mystic power, or scientific education, or austerities and penances. It is impossible. So, how to understand this thing? It is impossible to go beyond the jurisdiction of Krishna's control. Everything. In the material world, everybody is working under the control of Maya. Every single living entity. Nobody is beyond Maya. Mam Maya Duratyaya. Maya means the three modes of material nature. Everybody is completely captured under the inside in the web of these three modes of material nature. We think we are independent, but we are not. Not at all. Not even this much independence is there. Just the independence is there that we desire something. That's about it. And we were in the spiritual world where, okay, the independence was there, but by our own sweet will, we had given up our independence. So our position there was to serve Krishna willingly, lovingly, devotedly. But we became rebellious. So we thought, no, why we are serving Krishna? We can remain independent of him. And we can be the master. So Krishna says, okay, go to the material world. And here we think we are masters, we are controllers, we are independent, but we're completely under the control of Maya. It's just like if somebody is living in a city, nice city, Delhi, and he says, no, I don't like the laws of government here. They are stupid laws. So I'm not going to live by these laws. So I'm going to break these laws. And then he gets caught. He's put in the jail. Now, what happens to him in the jail? He has to live by the laws of the jail. There's no option. So either we live in the spiritual world happily, but following the natural laws of the soul and the relationship between Krishna and the soul. Or we live in the material world thinking we are independent, but we are completely under the control or jurisdiction of Maya. So Prabhupada further says, the word Manishaya, by intelligence, is of special significance. Priyavrat might argue that Lord Brahma was requesting him to accept family life and the responsibility for ruling a kingdom, although Narad Muni had advised him not to enter household life and be entangled in material affairs. So Narad Muni always tries to bring people to devotional life. Don't get entangled, just do bhakti. But it was so important that Lord Brahma himself had to come down and bringing the order of Supreme Lord himself. That don't listen to Narad Muni, just do the take up the responsibility. Whom to accept would be a puzzle for Priyavrat, because both Lord Brahma and Narad Muni are authorities. Under the circumstances, the use of the word Manishaya is very appropriate, for it indicates that since both Narad Muni and Lord Brahma are authorized to give instructions, Priyavrat should neglect neither of them, but should use his intelligence to follow the advice of both. To solve such dilemma, Srila Rupa Goswami has given a very clear conception of intelligence. He says, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharham Upayunjita Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. Vishayan, material affairs, should be accepted without attachment, and everything should be dovetailed with the service of the Lord. That is real intelligence, Manisha. Becoming a family man or king in the material world is not harmful if one accepts everything for Krishna's service. That necessitates clear intelligence. Mayavadi philosopher says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. This material world is false, and only the absolute truth is real. However, an intelligent devotee in the line of Lord Brahma and the great Srishnarat, or in other words, in the Brahma Sampradaya, does not consider this world false. That which is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be false. But using it for enjoyment is the false idea. So creation is not false, it's temporary. But the idea that I want to control and I want to enjoy it, that is false. Everything is meant to be enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is a supreme proprietor and enjoyer, and therefore everything should be dovetailed for his enjoyment and service. So everything means us also, our bodies also. Regardless of one's circumstances, favorable or unfavorable, one should use everything to serve the Supreme Lord. That is the perfect way to use one's intelligence. And this is how Priyavrat Maharaj should use his intelligence. That, okay, I will rule, but as a devotee of Krishna. Text 13. Bhavaya nashaya cha karma kartum shokaya mohaya sadabhyaya bhayaya sukhaya dukkhaya cha deha yogam avyakta dishtam ajantang dhatte. My dear Priyavrat, by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all living entities accept different types of bodies for birth and death, activity, lamentation, illusion, fear of future dangers, and happiness and distress. Every living entity who has come to this material world has come here for material enjoyment. But according to his own karma activities, he must accept a certain type of body given to him by material nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti Kriyama, everything is being done by Prakriti, material nature, under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Modern scientists do not know why there are varieties of bodies in 8,400,000 forms. The fact is that all these bodies are ordained for the living entities by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, according to the living entity's desires. He gives the living entities freedom to act as they like, but on the other hand, they must accept a body according to the reactions of their activities. Thus, there are different types of bodies. Some living entities have short duration of life, whereas others live for fantastic durations. Every one of them, however, from Brahma down to the end, acts according to the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's sitting in everyone's heart. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. It is not a fact, however, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives direction to certain living entities in one way and other living entities in another way. The truth is that every living entity has a certain desire, and the Supreme Lord gives him a chance to fulfill it. The best course, therefore, is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and act according to his desire. One who does so is liberated. So, Brahmaji is telling Priyavrat Maharaj that everybody gets different types of bodies according to their desires. And Prabhupada explains that although we got the bodies according to different desires, but now the best way is to surrender and do as he says. Just like Krishna says to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Nimitta matra bhava savesachi. You just become a puppet, surrender, and become an instrument and fight. So all we have to do, although we have desires, tons and tons of desires, but they will just entangle us more and more in this material world. So best is to surrender and act according to his desire. So Prabhupada says, one who does so is liberated. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Krishna Pujidana Pran.
Hare Krishna.
What you have said is perfectly correct. But why is it taking such a long time to actually implement in life?
Because we have our desires and then we have our so-called material intelligence, which keeps us from surrendering. That's a problem. So slowly, Krishna will break our desires, break our intentions, and frustrate us. And then we'll just slowly surrender. So that frustration of not fulfilling the desires, when Krishna does it, it really hurts. So we better do it ourselves. So don't desire. Yes, it is difficult. I'm not saying it is that easy. It's difficult. But then there is no other way. There is no other way. And at the same time, like we saw from Dhruv Maharaj's example, Pracheta's example, when they surrendered, Krishna gave them everything to enjoy materially and then spiritually. Everything they got. So these examples are there for us to follow. Understanding Krishna will give everything. There's nothing that he cannot give or he doesn't give. It's just we think we can enjoy better without Krishna. That's our stubbornness, actually. So that is rebellious nature all the living entities have. That's what we have to give up. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna, please accept my.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to do one thing that with Krishna consciousness, one can completely get out of the past life karmic reactions completely or only partially.
Ye yatha mam prapadyante. As much as we surrender, he rewards us accordingly. So everything can be taken care of completely.
So for a devotee, astrological chart do not matter at all, right? Pure devotee.
So it depends how much he has surrendered.
Yes.
See, Nectar of Devotion says all kinds of karma, prarabdha, prarabdha, good, beej, everything can be burned to ashes by devotional service. But this body that we have, it's a reaction to our karma, right? This is a material body. So this is not gone. Only thing that comes to my mind is it becomes spiritualized, just like iron rod in fire. but at the same time, and then it depends upon how much surrender we have, how much we are surrendered already, and regarding the karmic reactions. Now Krishna can give whatever he wants. He can give more than our karmic reactions to make us surrendered better.
Yes.
Just like, right? Just like Pandavas are pure devotees of the Lord, but still they had to go through so much of suffering, at least outwardly. So was it karmic reactions or was it orchestrated by Krishna?
It is orchestrated by Krishna.
So for devotees, he can do that.
Okay. Yes. So, like, what if because of the many lifetimes accumulation of our own karmic reactions and vasanas, samskaras, and everything, we are understanding our own weaknesses and faults and everything, but still finding so difficulty to come out of the, these problems and all. So sometimes, like, there's two things. Like, one is like suppressing and then trying to act something differently because it is mentioned in the scriptures that I don't have to do this or that. Or one is like shifting the mind and not suppressing the old habit patterns and shifting it to something new, like something higher, like engaging ourselves in services or that. So will that the second one will help completely to eradicate from our old habit patterns, or the suppression is also required? Like, I mean, I just wanted to know.
See, suppression in terms of if suppose I have a habit of smoking and drinking alcohol, it's better to stop it. It is better. But then there could be other habits which are not that detrimental, but somehow we just cannot give up. So let it go gradually away. There could be many things. So that is why it is always better to give the higher taste. Keep on giving the higher taste. And slowly, the slower taste will go away. Because what happens is our mind plays lots of games. There's a nice book by Satsvarup Maharaj on obstacles on the path of devotional service. And he has explained mind, how it plays the games is mind he has compared to like a horse. And if those who know how to ride a horse, they know in the beginning, if you're trying to ride a horse, trying to make it go according to your wishes, so sometimes you have to hold the reins very tight. Sometimes you have to let it go also. If you keep holding it tight, the horse will not follow your orders. And if you let it go completely, then horse will do whatever he wants to do. So mind is also like that. Sometimes you have to hold it tight, sometimes you have to let it go. Slowly, slowly, here, there, here, there. Mind plays funny games, very, very funny games. And moreover, we have to understand it's not a process of one lifetime. Nectar of Devotion clearly says it's not a process of one lifetime. It takes many, many, many lifetimes. So, so to develop that higher taste, it takes long time. And mind will keep on playing its games. So one thing for sure that helps is, yes, holding the reins tight and letting it go. But that's the thing that really helps is the association of devotees. And that too, compassionate devotees who don't judge you by anything. They just try to help. That is very, very important. We all have shortcomings. We all do. But if I get judged by some other people, then chances are I'll not go to the association again, to the group again. Just like Prabhupada, when he saw the devotees who joined him, everybody was a hippie who joined him those days. And just imagine a Mahabharata sitting in the middle of all these hippies. But he just looked at whatever qualities, good qualities they had, the spark, little spark they had, and then he fanned that spark and made it into a fire. He didn't judge them by whatever nonsense activities they were doing. He just gave them so much of love. And at the same time, his instructions were heavy also, but they just followed him because they saw the love. They felt the love that Swamiji was giving, the caring that he had for them. And they just followed him for that. So that is what is expected of devotees. Of course, we are not at the same level as Prabhupada. We can pray to him that let me not be the judgmental when I am with the devotees. Let me just serve them. And another example that Satsuru Maharaj has given and Gaur Govind Maharaj also used to give, that actually when we become judgmental, it's like a sieve telling the needle that you have a hole in your back. Sieve already has thousands of holes. He doesn't look at his own holes. But he's telling the needle that you have a hole. So that's what we have to come in contact with mature devotees who are very compassionate. And then we can make progress also. Yeah. And this progress is slow. It's an organic progress. So let it develop organically. It's okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Very beautifully you have explained. Yes, Sadhu Sangha is so important in our life that honestly speaking, I am very fortunate. I felt like just by getting only one constant association of Radha Damodar Prabhu, I could literally see at least 1% changes in me. So that's how I'm realizing that how important is association in my life. So.
I'm missing his association here, but anyway, I can get whatever I can get.
You don't want association now, I guess, Prabhuji.
I need it, desperately need it. That's why I look forward to this class every evening.
the way you describe everything, every time I realized that with so much of emotion, as if you are into that world and you are talking. So that itself defines that how pure you are and then how devoted you are. So rather, I'm very fortunate again also to having this association with you also. So thank you so much for your
I'm
constant
not at
association,
all
Prabhuji.
pure. I'm not at all pure. Long way to go. Long way.
Yes, Prabhuji, that is the
Anyway,
sign of a real Prabhupada.
Hare
and
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I will ask a question tomorrow, Prabhuji. I think we already extended
Okay.
the time,
Okay.
so
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Tomorrow is okay. Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful and safe day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Jai Shri
Jai
Ram.
Shri
Hare
Prabhupada.